Yes, sir.
You're ready?
I'm ready. Yes.
Senator Hirono?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Over the last year, the American people have watched in horror as DHS agents have terrorized our communities. We've all seen pictures and videos of ICE agents dragging people out of their cars, shooting them with pepper balls or worse, murdering people in the streets. This is not normal, but it's what communities being targeted by ICE are forced to face every day under this regime. It is why Americans of every background across the country are up in arms and raising a hue and cry about ICE. My first question, Ms. Noem. Last August, DHS attempted to deport 600 children to Guatemala in the middle of the night. When challenged in court, the lawyer representing DHS said a request had been made by either their parent or legal guardian to justify deporting these children. A federal judge found that statement had no support. In other words, no evidence that the parents have been asked. That statement by the lawyer representing DHS was false. That was a lie? Yes or no?
Ma'am, in that situation and in many others, we're working to return children back to their parents so they can be with their families. And specifically in Guatemala, we were stopped by an activist judge from returning those children to
Ms.
some of their
Noem,
family
the
members. And we'll
answer
continue to
is
work to reunite
that
them
was a lie
so that we
because
can
the
keep
judge
people
said
together.
you lied.
These poor
Your
angel families
attorney
behind me will
lied.
never have their children again. And
Reclaiming
that's
my
one of my
time.
motivations every day.
After DHS agents shot Marimar Martinez 5 times, 5 times, your department was quick to label her a domestic terrorist and claim that she ambushed and rammed federal agents with her car. She was even criminally charged, only for those charges to be completely dropped when body camera footage showed the truth that during the incident, the DHS agents announced that it's time to get aggressive and then rammed her car. Secretary Noem, DHS was lying when it said Ms. Martinez was a domestic terrorist who ambushed federal agents. Yes or no? That was a lie.
Every day, our law enforcement officers face tragic situations on the ground. They
Ms.
work
Noem,
every day to
I am
bring
not
public
hearing
safety
yes
threats
or
to
no.
justice.
You know what? You actually had to dismiss the lies that you alleged against Ms. Martinez. So that was a lie. Next. After DHS agents shot and killed ICU nurse Alex Pretti, you were also quick to label him a domestic terrorist. Even before an investigation began, you said he was brandishing a gun, a firearm. You also said he was apparently trying to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. The videos show that Pretti had a phone in his hand while helping a woman who was pepper sprayed. He never touched his gun. After DHS agents pinned Pretti to the ground and your agents removed the gun, they then shot him at least 6 times, killing him. Secretary Noem, when DHS claimed that Mr. Pretti was a domestic terrorist who was brandishing a firearm, that was a lie. Yes or no?
That investigation is still ongoing, being led by the FBI. But when that horrific day happened in that tragic situation, we continued to relay information from agents on the
I'm
ground
not hearing
to get
your answers
information to
a
the American
simple
public.
yes or no questions. So, moving on. Secretary Noem, in this photo, this man is on the ground and there are multiple people holding him down. Yes or no?
Yes.
You see? Yes or no?
Yes, he's laying on the ground and there are
Yes.
multiple people with their hands on him. Yes.
So that is what the American people saw. This man is completely subdued on the ground with multiple DHS agents on top of him. Despite being pinned down, a DHS agent soaks him with pepper spray, which can blind and burn a person. You can't even see his face. That yellow substance is pepper spray because your agent deemed it necessary to cover his face with pepper spray. Next photo. In this photo, the man with the clergy collar is surrounded by multiple DHS agents. Yes or no?
Yes.
Showing you a picture, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
That is what the American people saw. This man is Reverend David Black, who is the senior pastor of the First Presbyterian Church of Chicago. He had his arms up in prayer when ICE agents fired pepper balls directly at his head. They shot him 7 times, including twice in his head. Next photo. In this photo, do you see the woman on the ground? Yes or no?
Yes.
That's what the American people saw. This is just after your DHS agent violently shoved her against the wall and down to the ground in front of her 2 young children. She later went to the hospital. Secretary Noem, under your leadership, DHS attacks Americans and acts as if the law doesn't apply to them. That recklessness and lack of accountability stem from the lies that you and your partners in this regime are constantly telling. Oh, it's domestic terrorists. They were aggressive, whatever. Meanwhile, Stephen Miller, a top White House official, declared to an ICE officer, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. To all ICE officers. That is Stephen Miller. When DHS agents hear what you and the White House say, those agents think they can do anything. They know there will be no accountability for their lawlessness. They know that when they fire their weapons without restraints, you will immediately and reflexively blame the victims and label them domestic terrorists, regardless of the circumstances or facts. That is exactly what happened when DHS officers shot and killed Renee Good. DHS agents pulled up to her car, surrounding her. Moments later, a DHS officer shot her 3 times through the car window. She died. In response, you blamed Renée Good, saying she committed an act of domestic terrorism. Vice President Vance was then quick to say that the ICE officer who killed Miss Good is protected by absolute immunity. No wonder we saw DHS shoot and kill another innocent person mere weeks later. The lies that you and this regime spread are creating a culture that fosters abuse of power. This is the reason we need clear guardrails on DHS. No more masks, no more warrantless searches, no more roving gangs of officers terrorizing our communities. We need DHS to meet the same use of force standards that local police need to meet. They have the same requirements to identify themselves like local police have, and use the same warrants that local police use. In other words, we need immediate guardrails to rein in the lawlessness that you have unleashed. Mr. Chairman, I am done with this witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Noem, thank you for being here. I'm really glad that a lot of my Republican colleagues talked about the disaster that Biden and Mayorkas, your predecessor, created. It was absurd.